What do people in their 20s and 30s have to deal with if they don't have those conversations in their, middle school, teenage years?
That was me. We're going to have to deal with the lack of a lot of information that's important. The lack of understanding. What I did at 18 and 19, I'm still paying for it today at 37 years.
Really? Still?
Absolutely.
What things?
I mean, I have collection items on my credit report. Every time I bought 2 homes, over the last 3 years, I had to explain that. And I'm the money guy.
Right.
It's like, Anthony, whoa, wait, what is this collection? What we see is from X amount of years ago.
Right.
Because we don't have the conversation. Everyone thinks, well, it'll be off in 7 years. Well, here's the thing when it comes to money. It'll be off. Let's say, for example, you own that particular collection item. And let's say you sell it to me. Now, I can put it back on their credit report for another 7 years. So just because it was a 15-year-old situation that I had, if it got sold to another company, collection agency, it restarts the whole process over again. Wow. So I still have some items on my credit report from when I was 20 years old. And that's embarrassing when I go in there because no one sat down with me and had the true conversation around what is a credit card, what is interest, what's the difference between a credit card and a debit card. No one sat down and had that conversation with me. My mama told me, you don't need a credit card. She just said, don't do it. She didn't explain to me why not. No one sat down and had the hard conversation and given me the education. So without that education, I made poor decisions.
Right, and when a credit card is so easy to open up and everyone's selling them to you and, hey, get this, you get a couple $100 free when you open it up.
Easy. Everywhere you go is about credit card. You can't go into the mall without being offered a credit card when you're checking out. You can't even go into Walmart anymore these days. Everything is about credit. And again, I'm not knocking people who go down that route. I don't do that route. I actually enjoy the freedom of waking up every single month and having the freedom of saying, I don't owe anybody. I just owe my mortgage.
Yeah.
I love getting into my car and I have no car note. I love going to the mailbox and excited to go to my mailbox because there may be a check in there, not a bill.
No bills.
I don't know about you, but I remember every time my cell phone rang, if I didn't recognize the number, I didn't pick it up because those were collection agencies calling me. Yeah. It feels good when my phone rings. I can, hello, what's up? Right. I'm proud to answer it. And so if we don't give people that proper information, 20-year-olds now tend to build this negative relationship with money, and they're not really building wealth. And think about it. If we can start having this education now, we should be seeing more 20-year-olds being successful. Millionaires are being made now. If you're dropping a course or if you're sitting at home and you're playing video games, people are actually making millions online right now. But if we have the conversation with them now, we can see a lot more younger people really producing income.
What else is keeping most people broke? Is it a mindset? Is it the habits and the actions? Is it the environment, the people they spend time with?
Yeah. For me, it's a network. I have this, it's not my rule. It's a philosophy that I go by 33%, 33%, 33%. The first 33% of people who are talking into you. So I think a lot of people, especially young people, are not really building wealth because they don't have the right people talking into their lives, saying, hey, here's what you need to be doing. Here's what you should be reading. Here's what you should be investing into. And so if you don't have the right people talking into your life from wisdom, like I've called you from wisdom on a lot of different things. We're the same age, but you're wiser than me in certain areas. So, hey, Lewis, what do you think about this? So they don't have the right people talking into them. Then the next one is who are they doing life with? So if you're dating someone that is all about, hey, I want to go here, I want to do this, and I don't care if we have the money, let's finance it. And if you have friends in your circle that are saying, hey, let's go on this trip for spring break, let's just take our student loan refund check and put it on there, then that keeps them in a certain bracket. And then they're not really depositing anything into anyone. So for me, when it comes to, the lack of building wealth, who are you around?
So the people that are depositing into you, the people kind of in your same sphere of influence, what decisions are you making together?
Yep.
And then are you depositing into someone else?
And if you're not, here's the thing, we're just reduplicating it. If you don't have someone depositing into you, if you don't have someone who you're doing life with on a healthy way, you can't deposit something positive into them. So
you have nothing to give.
Exactly.
You have nothing to teach, nothing to give.
And you're teaching them. You just teach them the wrong things. While I was with Dave for a while, every major money thing that I decided, I asked him Before I purchase my first home, Dave, what do you think about this? Before I purchase my first big car, Dave, what do you think about this? And Dave would give me some wisdom. Dave would give me some insight. Dave is much wiser than me when it comes to money. I desire to be married. So I'm going to a married, wise couple. St. Anthony, here's some of the things you need to be working on now. And like, for an example, my couple that I submit myself to for wise counsel for marriage, they told me this, and I'll say it on your show. They said I'm selfish.
Why?
They said I'm selfish with my time, because I work so hard. So when I come home, I don't want to be on the phone. I don't want to spend time with her because I just want to rest. Mm-hmm. And they were like, no wife is going to want to be with a man who doesn't want to spend time with her.
Right.
And I was like, I'm selfish. And I didn't realize that. One of the main reasons why my relationships didn't work in the past was because I was only thinking about Anthony. I liked her. I loved her. But I wasn't thinking about her because I was only thinking about this is what I needed. And so I have wise counsel to call me out on my stuff. I have wise counsel to say, you know what? That's not healthy. You're a good man, but here's some of your flaws. And so I think it's very important for all of us to have a group of people that can talk into us from different areas, whether it's your money life, your relationship life, your business life, entrepreneurship life, career life, spiritual life, you name it. Whatever you value, whatever is important to you, you need to have someone wiser than you speaking into that. And you need to listen to them. Don't tell them what they should be telling you. Listen to them.
Yeah.
Listen to them. It's a hard thing.
Yeah.
It's really hard because no one likes to be told what to do.
It sounds like Dave gave you a lot of the financial wisdom,
Yes.
for many years. What would you say were the 3 biggest lessons around money he taught you directly, like that you implemented in your financial life?
I think it's the same thing he's teaching everyone within this message. Number 1, avoid debt. Number 2, live below your means. And number 3, really create margin. And that was something, especially number 3, you build wealth by creating margin.
What does that mean? What does that mean for people?
It goes back to just living below your means. So if you're making $10,000 a year, okay, are you not a year? Let's say you're making $10,000 a month, for an example. You should be living off like $7 grand, $6-7 grand. And that margin is what you're investing into. That margin is what you are looking to build wealth off of. I think in today's day and time, we're seeing about nearly 70, 72, 80% of people living paycheck to paycheck. I was there.
They're not living below their means. They're spending
every dollar,
as opposed to saying, you know what, I want to do this trip, but I'm not going to have any left over if I keep doing all these trips. I want to keep going out because I like going out and having dinner.
Yeah.
But that's an extra $100 every meal as opposed to eating $15 worth of my groceries for this night.
Absolutely.
I want to buy the new shoes. I want to spend on this. But then if you're living month to month, you don't have the margin to invest. What should we be investing in once we have the margin?
I mean, once you have the margin, I think before you do any investing, you should be eliminating your debt. First. And then once you eliminate your debt, you need to go ahead and get a fully funded emergency fund. But I think people really don't understand it's the debt part that really prevents you from building.
So you can't build wealth with you're living in debt constantly.
You can't. It's like a lot of people say, well, I'm going to use other people's money. Well, wait, that makes no sense to me. You're going to use other people's money to build wealth, but it's their wealth because they own it.
Right.
So for me, it's...
And what if you lose that money, you're in more debt?
Exactly. So for me, it's all about eliminating the debt. I don't want to pass down debt to my kids. They say that the average person is going to die with bills and with benefits. And the benefits are only enough to take care of the bills. You're not leaving it with any land, with no real estate, with no wealth to pass down. So for me, I'm eliminating the debt so that way I can really start building true wealth. I want to move forward, not worrying about my past catching up with me. Mm-hmm. And that's very, very important to me. And so when it comes to when you create that margin with wealth, man, you got to maximize on your 401ks. Mm-hmm. You got to maximize on your Roth IRAs. You got to maximize on maybe your some real estate. One of my mentors told me something so good that I'm starting to get into now. He said, we have no more capability of making land. We can build a lot of houses. We can't go wide, but we can go tall. But we cannot make any more land. Buy land, Anthony. And I was like, buy land? He was like, yeah, get some land and sit on it. Don't wait to get the land. Get the land and then wait and pass that down to your kids and your kids' kids. And I was like, okay. So I've been doing that. Just
Where you been
some
buying land?
I bought some land in my home city, Columbia, South Carolina, where I was born. And then with me moving again here soon, I'm gonna look at some land out there as well. But I went back home to purchase some land because
Really?
I know eventually, that's where my family is, and so that's where the roots are for myself. So definitely bought some land there because out there you could buy it for dirt cheap.
Right.
And so I'm just gonna sit on it.
Right.
And then down the road, somebody's gonna want to build on it. How many people are actually teaching true wealth? How many people are teaching young people how to avoid debt? Everything is always about consuming debt. How many people are actually teaching them a different way? Hey, there's a different way of building wealth. You can actually avoid debt and still build true wealth. But what's the true definition of wealth?